Hello fish fools, Jeff here. So this is a 20-gallon aquarium. The main occupants are guppy Endler hybrids. Those are descendants of a male lime green Endler and a wild guppy and a fancy guppy female and male Endler hybrid. So the females initially, this all started with one male and two virgin females in my 3.5 gallon tank, and then these are their descendants that I moved some in here. But yeah, so I have shown this tank a few times and discussed plans that I have for it. Still hasn't really gone into motion, where the plan is to add some white substrate. I still haven't done that yet. And along with moving more of the colony from the 3.5 gallon. And yeah, I think that's it right there. Recently I made a video where I featured that individual. I just think it's cool. Not so fancy, but I like the spot in the center of its body and its tail fin. But there's several cool looking colored fish in here. A lot of cool ones, but what I like to do is spotlight certain individuals, and this time, really my intent to show this video right now was to spotlight an individual, but it's not a fish. It would be this one, well, right here. This is a pink Ramshorn Snail. I believe it's the only Ramshorn Snail in here. There's a ton of pond snails. This is the only tank that I have with pond snails, which I initially thought were large bladder snails until I realized that they are pond snails. So yeah, there's one. Get a good look at that one. You can see that they're kind of look like they have ears as opposed to like stringy antennas like a bladder snail would. I mean a pond, yeah, a bladder snail. These are pond snails. Anyway, this one is huge. So this is not the first time I've had one like this, where, you know, just to get a idea of the scale size of it. But I have other aquariums where there's a bunch of them, and when there is a group of them and a colony of them, they don't appear to grow that big, but then this is the one by itself and it's huge. And as I mentioned, that's happened before. I had one in my 84 gallon, one lone Ramshorn Snail that just got huge. And it was one that I collected from outside. I just had these tubs. Sometimes I'll put excess plants and just discarded water change water in them, and then, you know, snails will end up in them. Okay, here's a good look at it. That thing is huge. And if you know, pond snails are significantly bigger than bladder snails. And that thing, yeah, that's jumbo. Yeah, I kind of dig it like that. So it kind of makes me think that I might try to put a single Ramshorn Snail in some other tanks that don't already have any, and see if I can get that kind of outcome. just looking at its shell, one thing that does happen where when there is a large colony of snails, they do tend to have weaker shells, just less calcium to go around between them all. Just, you know, one anecdotal observation, from having kept lots of aquariums and have snails in many of them. Early on, any aquariums that have some snails, like a smaller population in the beginning, their shells are in pretty good shape, and then as the population grows, their shell quality does decline. Yeah. So that's where we are with this tank. So still coming up. Decided I am going to gravel back and just get all that gunk, all that detritus. Kind of thought it was like cool looking like dirt, but it is time to clean it out. I was hesitant to do so because I did have some shrimp in here, and I figured there'd be shrimp babies among them that I didn't want to siphon up, but haven't been seeing shrimp lately, so I'm just gonna gravel back it and put in the substrate as intended. And yeah, on the plants here, just kind of kicked up a lot of the detritus earlier, and then it settled down. This looks like dirty on this cluster of Java moss and Acarus. Yep, so there's just an Acarus floating in here. As I mentioned in a recent video, I've conceded that an Acarus is just going to be kept as a floating plant because long term, when I try to plant it, it doesn't remain planted in substrate. Not that, well, I mean, there's no substrate in here, but from other aquariums, it just ends up floating like this, and like the roots that are in the substrate rot off. Yeah. Alright, well that's it for now. And remember, I'm Jeff, and I enjoy fishes. Thanks for watching.